Once upon a time, in a peaceful village, a wise and respected king ruled over his kingdom. The king was known for his fair and just decisions. Animals from all corners of the land would come to seek his wisdom and judgment in times of dispute. One day, news spread throughout the kingdom that a great commotion had broken out between two groups of mice. The mice were engaged in a fierce battle over a small piece of cheese that they had found. The dispute had escalated to the point where neither group was willing to back down, and peace seemed unattainable. Hearing of this conflict, the king decided to intervene and bring about a resolution. He summoned the leader of the mice from each group and commanded them to present their case before him. The two mouse leaders scurried into the court, each eager to prove their side to the wise king. The king listened attentively to their arguments, patiently hearing both sides of the story. The first mouse leader claimed that his group had discovered the cheese first and therefore had the rightful claim to it. The second mouse leader argued that his group had fought valiantly to protect the cheese from the other mice and thus deserved it more. As the king pondered over the conflicting claims, a clever and observant cat named Mina, who happened to be passing by the court, caught wind of the situation. Intrigued, she approached the king and asked for permission to share her insight. The king, curious to hear what the cat had to say, allowed Mina to present her case. Mina spoke confidently. "Your Majesty, if I may suggest a solution, I propose that we weigh the value of the cheese against the lives of the mice." The king was intrigued by Mina's proposition and ordered his attendants to bring the cheese and a pair of scales. He carefully placed the piece of cheese on one side of the scales and asked the mouse leaders to stand on the other side, one at a time. The first mouse leader stepped onto the scale, but to his dismay, the weight of the cheese far outweighed him. The same happened with the second mouse leader. It became clear that the cheese was of greater value than any individual mouse's claim. The king smiled and addressed the mice. "Dear mice, it is evident that the cheese holds more significance than any one of you individually. Therefore, it would be fair to say that the cheese shall remain in the custody of the royal storeroom until a peaceful agreement can be reached." The mouse leaders, realizing the wisdom in the king's judgment, reluctantly accepted the decision. They agreed to find a mutually beneficial solution and put an end to their conflict. From that day forward, the king's judgment became known as the cat's judgment. It served as a reminder to the animals of the kingdom that disputes should be settled through reason, understanding, and compromise, rather than through violence and selfishness. And so, peace was restored in the kingdom, and the tale of the cat's judgment became a renowned fable, imparting wisdom and promoting harmony among all creatures.